Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, the bells rang out across the land. King Stefan and Queen Leah were the happiest people in the world because a beautiful baby daughter had been born to them. They named her Aurora. To celebrate, the king ordered a great feast. "Let no one be sad today," he declared. "Everyone is welcome to see the princess." People from all over the kingdom came to the castle. The most special guests were the three good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. They flew into the great hall, their wings sparkling in the candlelight. They landed gently by the golden cradle where baby Aurora slept. Flora, dressed in red, waved her wand. "Little princess, my gift to you is the gift of beauty. You will be as lovely as a rose." Fauna, dressed in green, smiled warmly. "My gift to you is the gift of song. Your voice will bring joy to everyone who hears it." Merryweather, the smallest fairy in blue, stepped forward to give her gift. But suddenly, the castle doors blew open with a loud crash. The candles flickered and went out. A cold wind rushed through the hall, and a burst of green fire erupted in the center of the room. Out of the fire stepped Maleficent, the wicked fairy. She wore long black robes and held a golden staff. Her pet raven sat on her shoulder, staring at the baby with beady eyes. Maleficent looked at the frightened guests and smiled a cold, cruel smile. "I see all the nobility and the commoners are here. I really was quite distressed not to receive an invitation." King Stefan stood in front of the cradle. "You are not welcome here." Maleficent laughed. "Oh dear, what an awkward situation. I had hoped it was merely a mistake, but I am not offended. In fact, I have brought a gift for the child too." She raised her staff high. The green gem at the top glowed brightly. "Listen well, all of you. The princess shall indeed grow in grace and beauty, but before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die." The queen screamed and pulled the baby close. The guards rushed forward, but Maleficent vanished in a flash of green fire, leaving only her echoing laughter behind. The hall was silent with fear. But Merryweather still had her gift to give. She flew to the cradle. "I cannot undo this wicked curse because Maleficent is too powerful, but I can help." She waved her wand over the baby. "Sweet princess, you shall not die. When you prick your finger, you will fall into a deep sleep, and from this slumber you shall wake. When true love's kiss the spell shall break." King Stefan was still terrified. He ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom to be burned. But the fairies knew Maleficent would never stop looking for Aurora. "We must hide her," Flora said to the others. "We will take her deep into the forest and raise her as a peasant girl. We will keep her safe until her 16th birthday has passed." So the fairies took the baby and vanished into the woods. They changed their names and put away their wands to avoid detection. They named the girl Briar Rose. 16 years passed happily. Briar Rose grew up to be beautiful and kind, and she had a voice like an angel. She did not know she was a princess. She thought the three funny women were just her aunts. On the morning of her 16th birthday, the fairies sent her out to pick berries so they could prepare a surprise party. Briar Rose walked through the forest, singing to the birds and squirrels. Her voice drifted through the trees and caught the ear of a young man riding a white horse. It was Prince Philip from the neighboring kingdom. He was lost, but the beautiful song pulled him closer. He jumped off his horse and quietly followed the sound. He saw Briar Rose dancing by a stream, singing about a dream prince. Philip stepped out from behind a tree and began to sing with her. Briar Rose stopped and gasped. She tried to run away. "Wait," Philip said gently, holding out his hand. "I am sorry to startle you, but your voice is the most beautiful sound I have ever heard." Briar Rose looked at him. He had kind eyes and a warm smile. "My aunts told me never to speak to strangers." Philip laughed. But we are not strangers. We have met before." "We have?" she asked, confused. "Yes," Philip said softly. "Once upon a dream." They walked together through the forest for hours. They did not know who the other really was, but they fell in love. "I must go home," Briar Rose said as the sun began to go down. "My aunts are waiting." "When will I see you again?" Philip asked. "Come to the cottage in the glen tonight," she shouted happily as she ran back home. But when she got home, there was no happy party. The fairy sat her down and told her the truth. "You are not Briar Rose," Flora said sadly. "You are Princess Aurora, and tonight we must take you back to the castle to meet your father, the king." Aurora began to cry. "But I can't go. I met a wonderful boy in the forest, and I promised to meet him tonight." "You must forget him," Merryweather said gently. "You are a princess, and you are betrothed to a prince." Heartbroken, Aurora let the fairies lead her to the castle. They took her to a quiet room in the tower to rest before the celebration. But Maleficent had found her. Left alone for a moment, Aurora saw a strange green light glowing in the fireplace. The wall opened, revealing a hidden staircase. A hypnotic voice whispered in her ear, "Aurora, come to me." Tranced by the magic, Aurora stood up and walked up the dark stairs. She reached a dusty room at the very top of the tower. There, glowing in the green light, was a spinning wheel. "What is this?" Aurora whispered. "It is a magic spinning wheel," the cold voice said. "Touch the spindle. Touch it." Aurora reached out her hand slowly. "No, Aurora, don't!" the three fairies shouted, bursting into the room. But they were too late. Aurora touched the sharp point of the spindle. She gasped and fell to the floor in a deep sleep. Maleficent appeared from the shadows, laughing cruelly. "You poor, simple fools. You thought you could defeat me? The princess sleeps." She vanished, leaving the fairies weeping over the sleeping princess. They placed Aurora on a golden bed. "We cannot tell the king," Flora said. "We must put the whole kingdom to sleep until she wakes up." They cast a powerful spell. Everyone in the castle fell asleep instantly. The king on his throne, the cook in the kitchen, the guards at the gate, everyone slept. "We need to find the boy she met in the forest," Merryweather realized. If she loved him, his kiss might break the spell. "Wait," Flora said. "The boy in the forest. He looked just like Prince Philip." "It was him," Fauna cried. "Her true love is the prince." But Maleficent had captured Philip and chained him in her dark dungeon on the Forbidden Mountain. The fairies flew as fast as they could to save him. They sneaked into the dungeon and melted the chains. Flora gave Philip a magical sword and shield. "Arm yourself, Prince Philip," she said. "The road to true love may be barred by still many more dangers. You must go to the castle and save her." Philip fought his way out of the dungeon and galloped toward the sleeping castle. But Maleficent saw him escaping. She was furious. "A forest of thorns shall be his tomb," she screamed. She pointed her staff, and thick, sharp thorns grew up around King Stephen's castle. They were as hard as iron. But Philip used the magic sword to cut a path through them. Maleficent realized she had to stop him herself. She flew down and blocked the bridge to the castle. "You shall not pass," she roared. "Now you shall deal with me, O Prince, and all the powers of hell." In a terrifying explosion of fire, Maleficent grew larger and larger. She transformed into a giant black dragon. The dragon breathed green fire at Philip. He held up his magic shield just in time. The fire was hot, and the dragon was strong. She snapped her huge jaws at him, driving him back to the edge of a cliff. Philip swung his sword, but the dragon's scales were too hard. He lost his shield and was cornered. The dragon rose up for the final strike. "Now, sword of truth, fly swift and sure," the fairies shouted, adding their magic to the blade. Philip threw the sword with all his might. It flew straight into the dragon's heart. Maleficent screamed and fell backward off the cliff, disappearing into the mist below. The sky cleared and the thorns turned to dust. Philip ran across the bridge and up the tower stairs. He entered the room where Aurora lay sleeping. She looked peaceful and beautiful, with a red rose in her hand. He knelt beside her. "I promised I would find you," he whispered. He leaned down and gently kissed her lips. For a moment, the room was silent. Then, Aurora's eyes fluttered open. She saw Philip and smiled. "It's you," she whispered. "It is me," Philip replied. At that moment, the spell broke. King Stefan and Queen Leah woke up. The trumpets sounded. The whole kingdom came back to life. Philip led Aurora down to the great hall. Her parents wept with joy to see her alive and awake. They hugged Philip, welcoming him to the family. That evening, they held the grandest ball the kingdom had ever seen. Aurora and Philip danced in the center of the floor, happy to be together at last. Above them, the three good fairies watched with pride, arguing one last time about the color of Aurora's dress. "Blue," Merryweather whispered, changing the dress color with her wand. "Pink," Flora insisted, changing it back. And as the dress sparkled between pink and blue, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip danced into the night, and they lived happily ever after.